Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Let's go. Let's
go. That seemed fancy,
God.
Michael.
We have stepped things up over here at the Believe You Me podcast. We're going live. We got Lionheart, we got Harrington, we got Brian. How the bloody hell are you, Anthony Smith?
Good. I'm good, man. How are you? We had a big weekend of fights. I'm back home from Bristol, and we're rolling in. We're in the new office.
Yeah. The new office with zero bits and bobs. But don't worry.
One step at a time.
We can fix that. We can fix that. Believers, thank you all for being here live and unleashed. We're not going to call it live and unleashed. That's a little bit cheesy. What do you think about Believe You Me live and unleashed, Anthony?
It's a bit cheesy, but I think it captures what we got going on here.
Well, we are unleashed right now. My God, geez Louise. Anthony's on the Red Bull. I've got the honey water, hot water, honey and lemon to soothe my voice. And I got so much more coffee.
You're so much more sophisticated than I am. I'm over here crushing Red Bulls, and you're like a little bit of honey and warm water.
I don't like. You've got vodka in there as well, Anthony. Come on, don't give me that nonsense.
It's only noon.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and in fact, if you're in the UK, it's 6 p.m. I don't know about you, Anthony, but this new time for me, this is great. I love this.
I don't mind it either. I don't mind this time at all.
I love this. I don't mind it either.
Well, it's total. It works for me. The funny thing is, we both said that. I don't know why we weren't just recording it this time before.
I know. Well, this is good for me because I got the rest of my day to do whatever I want to do. And if you think I'm annoying and with too much energy, usually, bro, I'm out of bed. I've just done my run. I've done my ice bath, and now we are live. But still, we're not here to talk about all of that stuff and my annoying morning routines. We're here to talk about all the things going on in mixed martial arts. We do have, of course, the great, the one and only interim heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, will be joining us later. Brendan Loughnane, who was on kind of recently, he's hilarious. He's fighting in the PFL final this Friday, a chance for another $1 million. So he'll be stopping by in a little bit as well. We'll do some super chats at the end of the show. We're going to do some questions, but of course, first things first, UFC 305. I know you were in Bristol, Connecticut. You were on the ESPN duties. Anthony, the floor is yours. What did you think about that main event?
Man, that's not how I expected it to go. And I think that there's a couple things at play here. I think that maybe some of us expected a little too much out of Israel Adesanya coming back off of a long layoff. I think a lot of us looked at it like he's going to have this long layoff, so he's going to be refreshed and he's going to be happy and he's going to be eager to get in there and be super aggressive. And he's going to do all these things that maybe he wasn't doing in his last fight or so. I don't think we took into account that there is some ring rust when you fought 5 title fights in 17 months or whatever. It was a lot of title fights in a small amount of time, right? I don't remember the exact number, but you get used to rolling in there and you get used to being active and there's not any. You're super familiar with being in there, and he had a little bit of a layoff, and so I don't think we took that into account. And I don't know why, but I think even as analysts, we don't do a good enough job of giving Dricus du Plessis his flowers. And
so I got to jump in there real quick. It sounds an awful lot like there's a lot of excuses being made there for Israel Adesanya.
No, there's some technical things too that he's doing differently that he never did before. He's always been magical defensively. He's always been magical defensively. He's been an incredible counter striker. But in the Strickland fight, something was different. I thought it was a one-off, and it's not because he did it the entire Dricus fight. If you go back to the Robert Whittaker knockout, where Robert starts to throw the combination, Izzy's moving his head on the inside and then counters without removing himself from the pocket. He just had great vision, and he was able to avoid the big shot and land his own big shot. Did the exact same thing to Derek Brunson several times. He did the exact same thing when he finished Paulo Costa. He didn't remove himself from the action and then counter. He stayed in the pocket and counter. He did the same thing with Alex Pereira. He countered from the pocket. With Strickland, once after he got hurt by Strickland and dropped and almost finished, he never stayed in the pocket to exchange. He always wanted to retreat, get safe, and then go. Well, by that time, it's too late. And he did that a lot with Dricus du Plessis. he removed himself completely, got himself completely out of range, and then Dricus wasn't there to be hit. So I don't know that he's gun shy after being knocked out by Alex Pereira, being hurt by Strickland. He's just not as willing to stand in there like he used to. And some of that is Dricus. He has crazy heavy power in his hands, and he's hyper aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. I disagree quite strongly, to be honest. I thought Izzy looked really, really good. I mean, look at that round three. Round three, I mean, he was piecing Dricus up big time, ripping to the body, beautiful, fast combinations, nice and crisp, of course. Dricus has a very awkward style. Dricus, I thought Dricus looked, I mean, people always say, you know, oh, he doesn't look too great, but he's effective. And we've had these conversations many times, and that's kind of the narrative. I mean, that was that on steroids. Dricus looked like he didn't belong in the octagon with him. Of course, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? It's mixed martial arts. It's not only striking. But Dricus looked like the most herky-jerky, hunky-clunky that we've ever seen him, right?
I compared him to Keith Jardine all weekend.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad comparison. The Dean of Mean, throwback there. But I tell you what, when he let go, when he went for it and he did that punching charge and just rushes forward, he would clip him. He would catch him. And when he did do that, I'm telling you, even though
because Izzy 3 years ago would have countered him on the way in and on the way out. He wouldn't have retreated the way that he did on Saturday night. He's changed. Something's changed there.
Well, probably what's changed is that you go up the mountain, you plant your flag, you said, this town is mine. I own this mountain, not town, this country. This is Adesanya land. And then eventually someone comes over, rips that flag out and pitches their tent and says, screw you, this is mine. And that's what we saw, right? You go up, you can't stay there forever. Eventually what goes up must come down. Yeah, maybe he's getting a little slower. Maybe he's resting on his laurels. I don't know about any of that. I thought he was in tremendous shape. There was an image going around last week where before the Strickland fight and before the Dricus fight, and like the muscle tone on his body, he looked like he stepped up the strength and conditioning. He spoke about having fire back and being passionate and the sport passing him by. I thought he looked really good. I just thought Dricus du Plessis, with the wrestling attack that he had and with the commitment to the shots that he always has, to be fair, was just too much. I mean, it was round two, I think, the takedown that Dricus got, picked him up, slammed him down. I thought, oh my God, he's got him. And the ability of Izzy to spring instantly back to his feet, the strength of the hips, very, very impressive. But what was even more impressive was the way that Dricus stayed with the takedown attempt, continued to scramble, double leg, single leg, high crotch, pick him up, put him down, jump on the back, try and choke him out. But of course, Izzy escaped, got back to his feet. And Dricus can say whatever he wants, but he was blowing out of his ass. He was utterly exhausted. Exhausted. And I thought, oh, here we go. Izzy's going to put it on him. But Dricus found a way to survive that round. I still gave round two to Dricus because he had big moments and moments of control. Round three, that's when Izzy kind of showed, you know, his true dominance, rip into the body. Fair play to Dricus for taking all that stuff. And then in round four, it looked like Izzy was starting to take over the fight. One good shot kind of wobbled Izzy. He kind of turned his back. Dricus jumped on him. And the way...
Oh, my gosh, that drove me crazy.
What, the way he turned his back?
That part of it. But also, he did it earlier in the fight, too, where he gets to his feet, and Dricus has got his hands locked around Izzy's waist, and he fights the hands for a little bit, but he's got two hands free. And he's not... 100% of the time, you should be peeling those hands off of your waist. There should be no hands on the fence. You know, maybe you check your balance for a second if you're going down, you know, and you use a fist and try not to grab the fence and check your balance, but you got to get back to those hands. And then Dricus would let go with one hand and start punching at Izzy, and he's not turning and facing. Now his hands are apart and you're free. All you have to do is grab the one hand and then turn, and he just stays there and he covers. And then but the finishing sequence,
60% of the time, it works every time. What movie, Anthony? What movie?
I don't know what movie
come
it is,
on.
I know the quote, but I know the quote, but I don't know the movie. It's so frustrating.
Bringing back the movie quotes. Go on, carry on.
That's so frustrating. Like the little things like that. That's it. just as in general to everyone listening, we all like to think there's these big skill advancements that make the biggest difference. This guy's this much better of a striker, this much better of a grappler. At the highest level, when it matters the most, when there's a world title on the line, little tiny things like that are what's going to be the difference between you leaving with 12 pounds of gold and not leaving with 12 pounds of gold. It's fighting the hands when you're on the fence. It's turning and facing every time their hands separate. It's little things when you have an opportunity to separate and you don't. Those little things like that make the biggest difference and then lead to you end up having someone on your back getting choked.
Yes, correct. Technical things clearly matter in one of the most technical sports on the planet. However, the thing that really makes a difference is this, the heart and the mind and the not giving up. And that's what we saw from Dricus, because I'll tell you what, he was tired in round 2. He was tired in round 3. He was tired in round 4, but he didn't give up on himself. And that's what's so impressive, because when you're in a fight like that, I've been there. When you're in the training room, I've been there on runs, all the rest of it. On runs is the best example. I like to run a lot. When Callum was wrestling, I'd take him out. I'd take him on runs and he'd be like, and I'm like, see, you're tired. You want to stop. But I know for a fact that you want to stop because it feels good to stop. But you can dig deep. You can always dig a little deeper, because the human being wants to stop because it's burning. Your lungs are on fire. You're gasping for air. You're exhausted. It doesn't feel good. You're getting punched in the face. But are you truly willing to dig deep and push to that next level? And yeah, Dricus was tired, but he was willing to still endure that pain and keep going. And that, for me, is what's so impressive. Yeah, Izzy made some technical mistakes, and 60% of the time it works every time on the hands and all that shit, okay? But Dricus refused to give up, and he continued to push him. Yeah, he was maybe not as fast. Maybe he wasn't as technical, but the well-rounded threat and the heart and the passion for the sport that he had and wanting to win with all that South African versus African, who's the real champion, etc., all the African stuff. There's a lot on the line there. Who wanted it more? Dricus du Plessis wanted that more, in my opinion.
It's also fascinating to me how we do talk a lot about some of his conditioning issues in the past, but one thing that we've never taken into account is no matter how tired he is, it doesn't typically change the way that he fights. He looks like the most tired, exhausted human being on the planet. But if you look at the output and the way that he's striking and the speed and the power that he's doing it at, it stays fairly consistent across the whole fight. His mannerisms look like he's on death's doorstep, but he doesn't change how he fights. Yeah.
Oh, God. It's horrible. The worst feeling in the world being in a fight. Absolutely exhausted.
The aesthetics are bad, but
it's bad for judges. It's bad for the fans. Maybe it's good for Dricus. Maybe he knows. Maybe it's half an act.
Like he's panting at times like a dog.
He's dying.
But he's still flying. He's flying.
Got gears 6, 7, and 8 to push through. Hey, dude. And because he was going for the takedowns, you know this, right? Well, what do you think? Because going for some analysts disagree, some commentators disagree. Going for takedowns is 10 times harder than defending a takedown. Certainly if you're against the fence, because against the fence you play the whizzer, the underhook thing, and you're doing that because in the training room, you do drills doing this, right? And when you're the guy defending, you can do it all day, just doing a little underhook. It looks like I'm doing a really bad 80s dance. Looks like I'm on the Australian breakdance team, right? But when you're the guy going, trying to take him down, it's exhausting. Way harder. Way harder.
Especially if you can just get a frame on the fence and, like you said, just fight underhooks, keep the frame. And you got the fence to kind of hold you up and lean up against.
All day long.
I'll be there all day. But you're right. It's exhausting getting into those takedowns and not being able to finish them. And I think sometimes DC is like, oh, he shouldn't be that tired. He should be doing this forever. DC only shoots once at a time. Like he's a better wrestler than most. So oh, sorry, the one takedown you shot for 15 minutes, you're not
he gets
tired.
It down.
Yeah.
I was talking to DC about, because we both fought Anderson Silva, and he was like, yeah, but you didn't shoot against Anderson Silva. And I'm like, bro, I did. It might not have looked like it, but the game plan for months leading into that fight was to shoot takedowns and take him down. And like I tried once or twice, kind of like Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards, but it just didn't feel right. He wasn't there. The timing wasn't good, or whatever it was. Or maybe the reality is I'm just a shit wrestler. Do you know what I mean? I was like, but it wasn't there.
Yeah, let the international world team member tell you like how easy it was to take someone down.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I totally get it, DC.
DC just grabs someone and he falls down, and when he gets on top, there ain't no getting back up. That's for sure. Not necessarily because of the skill. He's a big old boy. Love DC, by the way. This would not be the Believe You Me podcast, and it wouldn't be Believe You Me Live and Unleashed, cheesy name or not, without Harrington and Bryant. Can we get a 4-shot, please, for the people?
Let's go.
Come on. Is Harrington going to be on mute?
Oh, there we go. There we are.
Harrington, say something. You're muted.
Oh,
that's got to be a bit.
Live and unleashed, least.
Don't do that ever again. How are we doing? Is anybody watching, Brian? Is people here?
We got almost 2,000 people in the chat right now.
Hey, let's go. Believers, we appreciate you all. Without you guys, this show would be absolutely nothing. Anthony Smith, do you have a quick word for the believers?
Yeah,
address the masses.
I'm so glad that we're doing this live. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes we get in here and we're like, it feels like it's just us. So like, I'm telling, like, just when we're talking about the fight, typically I feel like I'm just telling you a story, but you already know the story because you do the same thing I do for a living. So like, you see the same things I see. I feel like I'm like talking to everybody else too.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm just looking here to try and see what we've got
live. I'm glad we're doing this. Why didn't we do this before? How come
we've got thousands of people on here? We've got thousands, guys. Anyway. So the question now, and we start with Izzy, and we're going to go through all the 3 or 5, and we're going to go to chats as well and live questions, of course. But we gotta do the show as if you guys aren't here right now. Otherwise, we're going to be constantly looking at the chat box, and Anthony's going to get, he's going to go, this guy called me a name. We got to ignore that, Anthony. We're going to ignore them all.
They're probably calling me names, I'd imagine.
I guarantee they are. What do you think?
Brian, are they calling me names?
They weren't, but I'm sure they will shortly.
Well, let's be honest. Brian Harrington, keep it tall if you can. Who's getting the most abuse? Oh, Bisping keeps interrupting Anthony on Paper Smith. That's what they're saying.
That's a 1-for-1. That's a 1-for-1. That's an abuse on you and for me.
Yeah.
I don't know where this on paper. Where did this on paper thing come from?
Well, because you say it a lot. On paper, Alex Pereira sucks. On paper, blah, 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 blah. Hey, but listen.
I didn't notice it until they started making fun of me for it. I guess
I never noticed it until I just started seeing it in every goddamn thing. Anyway, screw them. Right. Dricus or Izzy? Who do we start with first?
Probably Dricus. I think he probably deserves it.
Oh, yep, you're right. He choked him out. Did what no one else has managed to do, because that's always the game plan against Izzy. Take him down, expose the lack of grappling ability, right? Everyone's tried to do that. Great fighters. Jan Blachowicz took him down. Black belt, 205er, big guy. Robert Whittaker, tremendous mixed martial artist. Izzy's done it. He's passed the test every time. But Dricus was able to do it. Who else did he finish? Finished Robert Whittaker. He beat Sean Strickland. He beat Israel Adesanya. He's taken out
our friend Darren Till, which is a big win for me. That's a big win to me.
Oh, if you can find that tweet, Harrington, bring this up. Did you see? Because Darren Till posted some advice to Dricus on how to beat Izzy. And then Dricus came back with a response to Darren Till. And I forget what he said now. Brian will put it on the screen in a minute. And then Darren Till came back and said, yeah, whatever. You're still shit. Or something like that.
You're still shit.
Do we have that image? Oh, let's have a look here. Any advice on beating Izzy, please? Please coach me. Any advice will help. You're still shit. Your style just works so good for you. Congrats, though. I am genuinely happy for you. You're still shit, though. I got to say, Brian, well done on the new production.
It looks great.
Oh, my God.
It looks great.
Dricus. So they've announced Sean Strickland next. The big talking point, though, I think, is that Alex Pereira, who seemingly has now got this kind of friendship with Israel Adesanya, and I think it's more of an admiration. You know, they shared the ring or the cage 4 times now, you know, so you build a respect and you build a relationship. I think he feels the need to come out and finish what Izzy couldn't. I also think it's genuine genius PR to just insert yourself into the conversation when he's fighting Khalil Rountree, and we'll get your thoughts on that as well. But he says, yeah, I'll come down to 185 one more time. What do you think about that?
I'm glad that you said that, because Dean and Brett Okamoto, I think, thought I was crazy when I said that on the post show. I felt like that was kind of Alex kind of almost sticking up for his confidant. Like they have this competitive thing between the two of them. They shared the ring and the octagon so many times that they have this like respect, and you've seen them interact with each other in the backstage before. And it's almost like, okay, Alex said, all right, well, Izzy couldn't do it, but I'll go finish that. Like, I'll go finish what he started. I felt like there was like a brotherhood there. Like, I don't know, almost like he wanted to get revenge for Izzy, kind of. And I also think there's some media darling stuff to it too. He's become quite the media superstar.
Oh yeah, no, he has. He's very, very good, considering the man doesn't speak a lick of English. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. There's also a little bit, I think, of like jealousy. And when I say jealousy, what I mean is Pereira had this, well, he was the only one to ever finish Izzy in the UFC. And then all of a sudden someone else comes along and does it. And you're like, you little prick. You did it as well. Oh, I want to beat you now.
Yeah.
Dricus
the guy he struggled with a lot just got finished the first time they fought. So, I mean,
yeah,
I think I get what you're getting at. Like, it's a little bit of, well, I didn't do it that fast, so I'll just go beat that guy.
And Dricus then said, yeah, I'll fight you, but at 205 pounds. Which, again, listen, all right, do I want to see Dricus versus Perriera? Sure. Yeah, fine. Is Perriera a way better kickboxer? Yes. Is Izzy better at defending takedowns than Perriera? I'll say yes. I'm going to sound like Anthony on Paper Smith now, right?
Okay.
Stylistically, this could be a bad matchup for Perriera. But more importantly,
on paper,
we got to stop. We got to, the champ shit.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Dricus. It ain't time for that yet, bro.
Yeah. One title defense, bro. Come on now.
You've had one defense. You're fighting Sean Strickland. Pereira's fighting Alex.
If that doesn't tell you how bad it sucks, if that doesn't tell you how bad it sucks to fight Sean Strickland, I don't know what does. Like, Strickland, no, I'll go to 205 and fight Alex Pereira.
Yeah, but there's no risk. He can go and fight Alex Pereira. He can look like the big man. He can make millions of dollars. Champ versus champ, South Africa versus Brazil. Do it in Las Vegas, UFC end of the year, bonanza, whatever the case may be. Lose and still be the 185-pound champ. You know?
Yeah. Let's just keep going in our own weight classes for now.
So it doesn't matter. Right now, the next man is Sean Strickland. But, of course, after a big fight like that, you got to celebrate. There was some footage, Harrington O'Brien played this, of Dricus du Plessis downing a pint. Do you down a pint of lager sometimes? Oh, yeah. Anthony? How quickly can you down a beer?
I said that so fast, it made me sound like an alcoholic. Every once in a while, I'll do that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't do it. When you're a kid, you do it. When I used to go around the pubs in Clitheroe, of course, you know, you'll get together and you'll down a beer. Do you want to know the fastest person? Can we play that video if you get a chance? Oh, here we go. Here's Dricus. He does this fast.
He gave you like a fucking 10-second head start.
Like a champ.
I'm an embarrassment to my country.
Wow.
Like a goddamn champ.
Wow.
Do you know who I've seen do it as fast as that, genuinely?
Who?
In Clitheroe, there used to be the social club. We used to go to the social club Friday night. We're all there. Rebecca, I just got with her. The lads all got together. Said, right, what we're going to do is we're going to down a pint of lager and then do a shot. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's maybe a lie. But say, all right, cool. So we all get together. I'm like, Rebecca, you're doing it as well. She's like, what? Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. We all cheers. Rebecca downed it faster than all of us in the speed of a Dricus du Plessis.
Really?
I swear to God.
Oh, okay. Well, next time we see each other in Vegas or something, when you got her with you, we're going to have to do it.
Oh, she won't do it now. She will not do it now.
Oh, okay.
She's past those days, man. She's far too mature. So Dricus, Sean Strickland, that's next. Israel Adesanya. And let me know in the chat, people, and Brian or Harrington, jump on and let me know what the consensus says in the chat. What do you think Izzy's next move is going to be?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because he's been in, like 11 or 12 straight title fights. It's, I don't know. I think he's got to sit back and figure out what he wants to do. Is he trying to climb back to a title? Is he going to have some fun fights, some legacy fights? Is that his plan? I don't know that there's a name that jumps out at me right away that I would want to see him go and fight. Whatever it is, it's going to be big. I would like him just to fight whoever he wants to fight. Like who's he going to get up for? That's what would probably matter most to me.
So Izzy's done it all, right? What a legendary career. And I'm talking now like he's retiring. That's not what I mean. He's done it all. I thought he was going to. He did the old Wolf of Wall Street. He took the gloves off. But you know what it's like when you have the gloves on. First thing you want to do is get those gloves off.
Oh, yeah, because they hurt your hands.
They hurt your hands. They're tight. They're boiling hot. Anyway. So I think, right, Izzy's done it all. He's been there, done it, got the T-shirt. He's the second greatest middleweight that's ever existed. I hate to say it, but he is. Anderson Silva's the first. Then it's Izzy based on title defenses alone. So I think now he's still got a lot to give the sport of mixed martial arts, right? He's still an entertaining fighter. He's still a superstar. He can still earn a lot of money. But for now, forget about title fights. Just have some fun fights. I saw this one doing the rounds, and I like this. Israel Adesanya, Yuri Prochazka.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Do you know what I mean? Come on.
That's a fun fight. That's a fun fight.
That's the one I'd go for.
And two guys that are in kind of a precarious situation in their careers right now. It's going to take them quite a few fights probably to get back to a title fight, or maybe not quite a few, but it's going to take some time. So both of them are coming off of title fight losses. So you can you can almost have a throw off. Like you could throw away one that doesn't really matter right now. It's just for the fans and for your legacy and something to have fun.
Correct.
Neither one of them would be fighting within their weight class essentially. So that'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
I was going to say like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson would be a fun fight for Izzy just because of the style. But, obviously I was like, they're in different weight classes. So I didn't want to, I was trying to think of a middleweight and I can't think of a middleweight.
I think Wonderboy's matched up. I just saw.
He is. I just seen it too, but I don't remember who it was.
Harrington, anybody know? I'm looking at the chat. Anybody in the chat, give us some knowledge. I just saw a goddamn fight announcement. Who was it?
Oh, man, it's driving me crazy.
I know. Shavkat? It's not Shavkat.
No.
Joaquin Buckley at UFC 307.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's a good fight too.
Because them two were chirping. Them two were talking a bit of shit online. Herringbone, jump back on, buddy. Jump back on.
Yes, sir. So the chat pretty resoundingly, they're saying either the winner of this weekend's fight with Cannonier and Bahalo, or a lot of people want to see Hamzat.
Who's Cannonier?
Kyle Bahalo. Okay, so
Ohio. Like you come from Ohio.
He's definitely not Ohio. So the resounding answer from the chat is Hamzat Chimaev.
Well, that's the whole one, isn't it? I mean,
that is the
he's
one.
Fighting Whittaker. I don't know if you know this, people. Okay, people in the chat. I thought you were an educated bunch of MMA nerds. He's fighting Robert Whittaker. So shut up with that nonsense.
We've made it 29 minutes before Michael started abusing the chat.
Oh yeah. And we got a lot more of that coming on, let me tell you right now. But first of all, oh my God, PFL finalist, one of the funniest guys in mixed martial arts. Brendan, what the hell's going on with your nose? You look like you've been taking a few licks.
You know what happens, Mike? When I get closer to weight, it looks well more obvious, but it's very bent.
How many times have you had your nose broken?
Oh, man. It started in primary school. Ever since then, it's just been an ongoing thing. Like, I just think, you know what? I'm going to get it fixed. And then I think, what's the point? Like, what's the point at this stage of getting it fixed?
Yeah, there probably is no point right now.
Well, I got mine fixed.
I'm in the thick of it.
I had mine broke loads, but they took when I stopped fighting, I couldn't breathe through my nose. So they took my ribs, rebuilt my nose, I still can't breathe through the goddamn nose. So don't do it. Don't do it. It's pointless.
I've got a massive deviated septum. I've not took a breath through my nose for about a decade, maybe 15 years.
I was addicted to nose spray because I keep having to do the nose spray so I can breathe clearly. And then you get addicted to it. It's crazy. Of all the things to be addicted to. Seriously. No, because I was doing all the time, yeah. And then I had to do it a lot. And then Lucas come in. He's like, Dad, you get addicted to that stuff. I'm like, shut up. No, you don't. And then he showed me a YouTube video. And I went to my doctor. He said, yeah. Oh, yeah, it happens all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, I'm looking up. Brendan, you're fighting this Friday. $1 million on the line.
Yep.
How are the nerves? How is the pressure? How are you feeling?
Don't really feel pressure anymore, Mike, to be honest. All it is now, once you've actually won the belt and you've got it and it's yours, now I feel like the pressure's off. Anything now I always seen as a bonus. And the bonus seems to be going really well. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just looking forward to performing on the night. I'm looking forward. I've got a good matchup. We've got a guy that's on a 5-fight win streak. He's also a striker. You know, he's a Hawaiian. They like to bang. So it's an interesting matchup, and I'm excited for it. Is
there part of you that's excited for the season to be over? You know, last time you were on, which I felt like it was a long time ago, and you're still in this same kind of training camp, getting ready for a fight because of the way that the season works. Like, it's got to be it's got to be hell on you a little bit. Are you excited just to be able to sit down and not have another date looming ahead of you?
You know what? I tell everybody this isn't for everybody. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's fight after weight cut. You know, can you imagine the second you walk out the cage, you've had your fight, you're doing a stare down with someone else. So, you know, after it, you want to have a good night, but you can't really enjoy a good night because you know that this guy, you've just done a stare down. So you're in between that. You want to go out, but you don't really because you know you've got a big fight coming up again. You know, every 8-week turnaround, the traveling, going to and from the fights, the damage that you take in the previous fight, you've got to take into the next camp and fight. There's loads of variables, but this is my 4th season now. I'm really enjoying it. I don't think I could go back to conventional fighting now, 1 a year, 2 a year. It's just not me anymore. I'm used to this now.
So the fight's Friday night. Just tell the people name of the opponent and where did they watch it? Where did they check it out? Where did they come and support you?
Main event again, PFL, ESPN. I'll probably be on about, I don't know the exact timings. She'll have to look that up. But the PFL Friday night, all different timings wherever you are in the world. But I've got a guy in Kai Kamaka that is up for it, Mike. You know when you get them guys that you look at the style and go, yeah, he's up for it. He's up for it.
He used to be in the UFC, right?
Correct. Yeah, he had a good stint in there.
Yeah.
He's put 5 together in the PFL and Bellator, you know, and he's a striker. Who doesn't want to see 2 strikers have it?
Yeah, mate, I can't wait for it. Now, all that aside, you talked about the broken noses. You talked about the broken noses started in school. You're from the mean streets of Manchester. Were you a little scrapper, Brendan? We've never talked about this. I mean, listen, I think I know the answer to this already, but Brendan Loughnane growing up on the mean streets of Manchester, what were you like?
You know what, mate? I'll be honest, Mike, not really. No, I was a footballer. I used to love playing football like we all do. And you know what? Talking about the broken nose, let me tell you a funny story about the broken nose. Yeah, it's the first time I ever broke my nose. I remember it. I was in school, and I was play fighting with my mate, and he pulled my head down, and I went to knee him, but kneed myself. So I actually broke my own nose.
You did the Tyson Fury uppercutting yourself.
I did that. I broke my own nose. Yeah, I know. That's a great one. So back to your point, though, mate, not really. Football, I was always that right back, though, that I'd dive in for the tackles. I'd get stuck into people. But then, yeah, my next door neighbour used to just be a bit of a... Ben Walker used to fight on cage rows. He actually fought on a show you did the first time I ever seen you fight back in about 2006. Yeah.
Did I win?
It was at the Coventry Dome. Do you remember the Coventry Dome?
Sky Dome. Bro, that was in 2006. The Sky, I was killing it in the UFC. That was 2004 prime time. Or maybe 2005.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. I remember your fight. No, I can't remember exactly who you fought, but he fought on that same card, and that was my introduction to MMA. And here we are.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, you guys keep talking about the mean streets of Manchester. I spent a lot of times I spent a lot of time in the streets of Manchester. I had a lot of fun, but I didn't feel like unsafe. You guys had me nervous before.
Are you saying Manchester's full of pussies?
That's not what I said.
That's what you're saying, Anthony.
No, I'm saying it was lovely. I had a good time. I didn't feel unsafe at all.
What did you do in Manchester? Tell me, where did you go?
Man,
he went shopping at Selfridges to get some Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, well,
I did do that. I did do that.
Where did you go?
I don't know. I drank a lot. I drank the whole time I was in there's a lot of it's a good drinking place, that's for sure. There's plenty of places to get some. It's a vibe. I had a good time.
Yeah, it is a vibe.
Manchester is
even DC was drinking out there. It was wild, and he never has a drink.
Hey, so that's a funny segue, because I was going to ask Brendan, because you're fighting in DC, right? Washington DC. What do you think of it? Because you said you'd never been there. Now you are there. What's your thoughts on the capital city of the greatest nation on earth?
I just did the White House. I did all the monuments. Knocked about the place. It's got a really nice downtown, really nice vibe. But again, somebody said to me before I come, well, watch yourself in Washington. I'm like, seems all right to me. I don't know, but I guess there is some mean streets here too.
Did you see Joe Biden?
Not yet. Nah, listen, mate. What is going on with him?
No one's seen Joe Biden. He's running the country, but he's not about.
No, there is no Joe Biden. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. No, it's like Weekend at Bernie's. That's Joe Biden right now.
Oh, mate.
Oh,
so perfect world. Brendan, you go out there, you get another stunning victory. I've said this so many times. When I watch you fight, and I truly do mean this, I have been so impressed, Brendan. The way you defend takedowns is very, very unique. The aggression that you have, the speed, you strike, and you put it all together beautifully, right? I'm a big, big fan. We're friends, of course, but I'm a big fan of what you do. You go out there, you get the job done. You get your hand raised. You get another $1 million. What is Brendan Loughnane's next move?
Thank you, Mike. It means the world, that really does. But it is the semi-final, not the final, Mike. I just have to correct you quick.
I thought it was the final.
I've just popped the bubble. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the semis. You know what I mean? So
get off the show. We don't want you. We only have finalists from the PFL. We don't want no semi-final knobhead.
Oh, you just a semis guy now, are you, Brendan? But
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, listen. In my head, this is the final. Kai, you know, he's on a 5-fight win streak. I've got put a good few together myself. We're both knockout artists. I'm looking forward to a great fight. But to answer the next question, I'll be then fighting in Saudi Arabia in the last week of November for the final, hopefully, all going well. But I've had a great camp. I'm a seasoned fighter. This is Kai's first season. You know, your first roll of the dice in this thing. It's not easy. It's his third fight. It's his third weight cut in short succession. It ain't easy. It ain't for everyone. And I'm going to go in there Friday night and show everyone that this is my house, Mike.
So when is the final? Well, when you do that, when you get your hand raised and may the best man win. But when you do, when is the final? So how quickly would the turnaround be?
No, we get a break. You know what a break looks like for me? 10 weeks.
I'm getting it all wrong.
10 weeks. We get a break. That's what a break looks like in the PFL.
Okay.
So yeah, Saudi Arabia is the final in November. So I get I'll have a little week to myself, and then guess what? Back in camp again. Brendan just lives in camps.
Bollocks. Go on.
So then
Anthony.
then you go through, you win, in November, Saudi Arabia goes well, and then you just sit and wait and you just do it again.
No, Anthony. You know what he does?
Here's what I do.
No. You know what Brendan does? Brendan goes to Saudi Arabia.
He kicks them up.
Put those skinny legs away. We don't need to see those toothpicks. Brendan goes to Saudi Arabia. He wins. He then travels.
And then we got to get him out of Saudi Arabia as quick as possible.
He goes to Dubai. And then he has it large with Darren Till. Don't lie, Brendan.
Well, Mike, you listen, mate. There's no secrets on this show, lads. I'm going to have it completely off. Like, I'm going to win that belt for the second time. They're going to drop another $1 million in the account, and I'm going mad. That's what's happening. You won't see me for a whole month.
I can't wait. Did you watch the UFC at the weekend?
I did. Oh, wow. Did I? What a card, lads. Wow. Honestly, for the first time. Let me just say that Carlos Prates, I've known about him for a long time. Changed at Tiger Muay Thai. I've watched him ironing people out left, right, and centre for years. He's got a very similar style to Darren Till, hasn't he? That southpaw, jumps in and out the pocket, left straight, beautiful. And then the main event, I never would have been able to call that. I really wouldn't. It was great TV. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, it's somebody like, if you were really, really good, you would have picked Dricus du Plessis via submission in round 4, which I think I did. I think I did.
No way.
I did.
Are you sure?
Wow.
I nailed it, bro.
No way. Brian's going to have to
the
clip that and throw that
money.
in there.
Brendan, mate, we'll let you go, pal. Listen, all the best. All the best, Brendan. I hope you go out there, you smash it. I know Kai, I've commentated a couple of his fights. Great fighter. Don't take him lightly. Enjoy the moment. This is an amazing ride for you. You're 35, right, Brendan?
34.
34. So what, 2 more years of this, 3 years of this? What do you think?
Do you know what it is, Mike? Here's the thing, right? My weight cuts are getting better. My performances are getting better. My body's never felt as good. I've got no injuries. Like, it's like people are capping it with ages and like, oh, 33, that's it, lads. And it's like, okay, but I'm not slowing down. I'm speeding up, if anything, and getting better. So I can't put a limit on. Everyone does say that, though. Oh, you're this now, you're that age. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But what if I'm still knocking everyone out, though? What about that? Like,
Yeah.
what do you do then?
You keep going.
You take that to the bank. You take that $1 million, you turn it into another $1 million.
I said to myself, I made a promise to myself, I'm going to do this until the wheels fall off. And right now, they're fully on, Mike. Not even one, I've not got a flat tire. You know, like everything's just in motion. Yeah. Like the train's going. So it's like, let's just keep going, innit?
Let's just keep going. Choo-choo, baby. All the best this weekend, Brendan. Get the hell out of here. I'll talk to you soon.
Good luck, brother.
Nice one, lads. Thanks for having me on. Cheers, fellas.
Thanks, Brendo. See you, buddy. To the wheels fall off. I mean, my eye fell off. My knees had fell off. Wheels had fallen off. Ears had fallen off.
Your pets' heads are falling
off. Guys, we're going to be back. We're going to run to a commercial break for just a second, so don't go anywhere. And that's about the time, Brian. That passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Oh, exclusions always apply. Big thank you to Brendan Loughnane. All right, so we talked about Dricus du Plessis, talked about Israel Adesanya. I want to start, get into this one. Tai Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Of course, Kai France was unbelievable, right? What a knockout. But Tai Tuivasa, we all love this guy. He's now lost 5 in a row. Against Biggie Boy, I thought it would be a tough stylistic matchup, and that's what it was. He was far cleaner. Fair play to Tai. He took an ass kicking. He took those knees to the face and still kept coming forward, but it just wasn't his night. And then he got to the scorecards, and they say 30-27, Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, there's no way that judge just didn't. I think maybe he was marking the wrong spot on the card. There's no way. And again, with all respect to Tai Tuivasa, honestly, I hope you hear the rumblings. We're like, oh, do they cut him? What's he do? I don't put him as the doorkeeper. Every new heavyweight that comes in the UFC, give him to Tai Tuivasa. You can beat Tai, you move on to the next level. I hope that guy has a job forever because that's exactly what he's here to do, is just entertain. So I don't mean this with any disrespect. There's no way he won every round. I don't know if he won a round.
I hope Tai Tuivasa still has a job.
So do I.
This sounds really bad, but that judge.
That's crazy.
should be out of a job at this level.
And they pulled him, I think, because he was supposed to do the co-main event.
They pulled him from all of his duties for the rest of the evening. And that was the right move. Thank God they did that, because it's nonsense. Because, let's just say it was a different fight and it was close. But Biggie Boy still won. They would have probably given it to Tai based upon that. It's insane, You go out there, you have all the blood, sweat, and tears, the sacrifice, your career trajectory, your win bonus, and then you've got judges out there. They are professionals. They are paid to do this role. They're not some guy just volunteering off the street. I said this Saturday night when I was watching it. Anybody watching that fight, a child watching that fight would be able to say who won. Simple as that. It was not an intricate, tough to score fight.
No, it wasn't. And I know that you and I might be some of the most critical people of judges and referees at times. And, in the thing, and we weave in and out of these worlds. So we're very critical of them, and we see them all the time. So it puts us in an uncomfortable situation sometimes because we are so critical. But
Jason Herzog had a go at me last week, but carry on.
Yeah. And not only that, I'm critical of them on here. And then I got to fight in front of them. Like they're involved in these fights. They're still there. So, and I don't care. I don't give a shit.
That's why. That's why
I'm losing. That's it. I got screwed. No, but I'm do that because it's that important. And so I'm not attacking them personally. I don't know who they are as people. I'm sure that they're great people at home and in the rest of their life. But when it's here, it affects us. So that's what I'm going to speak on. And I know that they do get upset about that. But that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable by any standard. And I think that the way you put it's perfect. My kids could watch that fight and say, hey, who do you think won that fight? And they would say it was Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Biggie Boy, the one that beat up the Tai Tuivasa guy. I was trying to,
I'm
trying to think of what is he? Is he Maori? He's not Maori. What is he? He's like, what's his?
Well, my kids are ridiculous. They say the black guy.
Yeah, okay, you can say that. The black guy beating up the non-black guy.
Yeah.
But it's that easy. It's that obvious. But talking about judges or refs, you're right. Jason Herzog, when I was commentating last week, right before we go live for the UFC, he comes over and he didn't have a go at me. He was an absolute gentleman about it. I forget what the situation was, but the last time I commented at the Apex, myself and Paul both had an issue with something that he did. And we were talking about it on air. And he came over and he was like, Michael, just want to let you know, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And you're right in what you said. And I'm glad you did that because it checks us. And I was like, Jason, I said, listen, mate, I said, I can't even remember the situation that you're talking about because we're locked into commentating the fights. But he was trying to explain the situation. I said, dude, there's no judgment. When you're refereeing a fight, it's a little different. You got to make split-second judgment calls, right? And that is a tough job. It really is. So I said, whatever it is, and Jason's going on, like, trying to get into it. And I'm like, I'm trying to prep my notes. I'm like, we're going live in 30 seconds. I'm figuring out what the hell I say at the start of the show. Jason, leave me alone for the love of God. But he cares. He cares. And he was very, very honest and was like, you know what? Looking back, you were correct. So, it's a tough job.
And I'm sure I've had referees who are guys like Jason Herzog or Mark Smith who will come up and say, even during the fights, hey, what'd you think about that? Or how would you have handled that? Or what, and like they actually care. And they'll say the same kind of things where you were right. Maybe I messed that one up. But I've also had referees who will come up to you and they'll check me right away and say, well, I heard what you said. And you were wrong because of this, and this, and this. Like, okay. Yeah. I get it.
So well done to Biggie Boy. Mm-hmm. And I hope Tai Tuivasa, he's got to do some work, though. He's got to clean some things up. But Dan Hooker, let's talk about this. Fight of the night, Dan Hooker, Mateusz Gamrot. I got this pick wrong.
Me too.
I thought Mateusz was going to single leg him, take him down, be all over him on the ground. And he did have some moments. How did you score that fight? Because I do TNT Sports. Nick P had Mateusz Gamrot winning that fight. And I thought, that's Dan Hooker all day long.
Yeah, I had it 29-28 Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
I thought he lost the second round, and I thought he won the first and the third.
Hey, do we have a little clip? Probably not, boys, of in between. I think it was after round 2 or something. And Dan Hooker's in the corner, and he's just like,
Hey, boys.
Laughing his
this
head
shit.
off and just oh, here we go. Here we go. Well done, lads.
I love this.
He's disgusting.
Hey, he's a savage. He's there.
a
He's covered in
monster.
blood. He's getting beat, stitched up or whatever, Vaseline in his cuts and things like that. And he's just loving it. That made me a fan for life. I mean, that's unbelievable because that's the kind of, a lot of people say, fighting, wow, why do you do that? Well, of course, we're all cut from different types of cloths. Some of us fighting is in our DNA. And to see Dan Hooker there, and it's a tough fight, and he's covered in blood. It's not like he was going out there and beating the shit out of his opponent and going, oh, I love this. It's like he's just had a hard round and he's loving it. I love to see that.
Yeah, it was like an inspiring type of performance because we've seen Dan Hooker struggle with wrestlers. And oddly enough, we always kind of flash back and say, well, Dan he has a problem with wrestlers. He has a problem with grapplers. He's got the third highest takedown defense percentage in the entire division, which goes to show you how good the wrestlers that dominated him actually are. I thought he did a fantastic. I think physically the whole team looked really good. They talked a lot about their strength and conditioning, and they all looked like physically they were different. But his ability to get back to his feet, fight the hands, get off the fence, and then do damage on his feet. The pressure that he was putting on Gamrot was just. I mean, I think that's where it really started. Was Gamrot could not get set up. He just pressured him, banged him up every chance he could, elbows on the head when Gamrot was in on the takedown. He just fought a rough and tough fight. He did things just because it would hurt. And I think those kind of things kind of caused Gamrot to retract out of a lot of those situations. I thought he looked great. I don't know what's going on in his life. I keep joking around that he's going through some sort of midlife crisis with all his tattoos. And
he is.
I love
There's
it, though. I
definitely
love
something
it.
going on. I like it, though. Crisis.
He's going
Dan
through
Hooker.
some shit, though.
midlife crisis. Dan Hooker is a tough man to deal with. And
sure.
I say, what's your pick? What does Dan Hooker do next?
Honestly, I think you just give him Michael Chandler.
Michael Chandler. That's what I think as well. Chandler needs a fight, right? McGregor, all right, apparently now he is going to fight at the end of the year, right?
I'm done with the back and forth. I'm over the back and forth.
I'm sick of talking about it.
Fight or don't. Fight or don't. That's where I'm at. If you're coming back, come back. If not, shut up. I'm over it. Stop pretending I would rather he fought. But if you're not, then just sit down and
but he said he's going to fight.
People's careers.
Because Dana said he's not fighting until next year. Then McGregor was like, I'll fight at the end of the year. And then apparently they've talked and it's all on. Do you believe that?
No.
No.
You're not okie doking me anymore. Getting my hopes up and stuff.
Money talks, bullshit runs the marathon. What's the movie?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I was hoping you did. I think it might have been New Jack City. Have you seen New Jack City?
No.
Dude, that's a good film. Ice-T, Wesley Snipes.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. There's a lot of it's in a big apartment building.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's it called? Anyway, who cares what it's called? Michael Chandler, because Michael Chandler's got to fight, man. He's got to fight, right? So squeeze one in. He's always in shape. He's doing kettlebell thrusts as we speak. You know what I mean? Give
10x in his performance.
He's 10x in it. He's giving TED Talks. You know what I mean? He's inspiring the next generation as we talk right now. So put him in with Dan Hooker. Right, Dan has a chance to avenge that loss. It could be stylistically an easy fight for Chandler. I don't think it is because what we've seen on paper, and win or lose, if he fights McGregor, he fights McGregor. Right. Anyway, who cares about that? We got Big Tom jumping on in about half an hour. Ooh. Big Tom Aspinall. So, what are we going to ask him about, Anthony?
We should probably ask him who he thinks is going to win between Stipe and Jon. I'm curious what he thinks as far as his analytical breakdown. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I want to know what he's been doing since his time. Yeah. Is he celebrating or is he just hanging out or is he training? You know,
I saw a video on his YouTube channel.
He's eating. That's for sure.
He's doing a video and he's going to have a go at Dana White is what he said on his video.
He said he's fixing the clap back this week.
The clap back.
You think he'll do it on here?
Saying? Are the chat clapping back, Harrington?
Oh, the chat's clapping left and right. We just had somebody ask for Dan Hooker should fight Tony Ferguson, obviously.
Oh,
Oh.
of course. Yeah. But hold on. What did you say recently, Anthony, about Tony Ferguson?
Which part? I said a lot about Tony Ferguson.
It was,
We should keep him around.
yeah. Stick him in. Give him Mateusz Gamrot.
No,
Let's go.
We should give him like 35ers.
Yeah. Harrington, so obviously, let me just look at the fight card real quick. Obviously, Kai Kara France, unbelievable knockout against Steve Erceg. I felt for Steve Erceg there. You know, you have this big rise in the UFC. You fight for the belt. You get a knockout in Vegas. The UFC goes to your hometown where you're now this bloody pay-per-view headliner, and you get starched in front of your hometown people.
Yeah, we all missed on that one too, though. I think that the recency bias with the Matt Schnell knockout and then the incredible performance versus Pantoja, he was one bad decision from being the champion of the world. You know, just he made a mistake in that title fight, and that whole decision could have been different.
Yeah.
So I think we had some recency bias, and Kai's had some ups and downs himself, and he hasn't been around a while, and he's been dealing with some concussion symptoms. And I think a lot of us were like, well, of course, Erceg's streaking right now, and maybe Kai's a little bit down. And he did a great job reminding us all of how great he actually is.
The point I'm making, though, is that you have all this success in Vegas. You go down to Rio, you don't win, but you get a real moral victory. And you come back to your hometown. And not only do you not win, you get starched early in the first round. What time was it? 4 minutes, 4 seconds into the first round. It's like the big homecoming. You know, all his mates would have been there, the friends and the family, which brings a lot of pressure. Have you ever fought at home, Anthony?
Not in the UFC, no.
Yeah, no. They don't go to Arkansas.
Oklahoma, remember?
No, I know. Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, there was supposed to be I was actually supposed to headline in Nebraska versus Glover, and then the pandemic hit and they canceled the card.
Goddamn pandemic, messing everything up. I know, poor Steve Erceg, because he's like such a nice guy. So sad for him. Brendan mentioned Carlos Prates, though. We got to talk about that. This man, Carlos Prates, keep an eye on that name. We're going to move on to some other stories, non-305 related in just a minute, but we'll just round up the main card. Carlos Prates now 4-0.
4-0. Yeah.
4-0. All stoppages. And
the Leech has never been knocked out.
Bro, he was out for a while as well.
Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, it was
cold.
It was one-way traffic the whole time. That kid is good. He is so good.
It's scary.
And so smooth, and it looks so effortless. Like he's just in this flow the whole time. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, you know when you see a knockout like that on TV, that can be alarming. I've been there commentating the fight, so obviously the octagon fence is 3 feet away from my face, and somebody gets knocked out. And I'm struggling to think of an example right now, but I've seen some where they're knocked out and they're bad, and you're like, oh, when it's right there in front of you and you're that close, it's so much more terrifying. I mean,
can you
off
only the top of your head, can you think of like one or two real bad ones?
There was one on Power Slap. There was one, somebody got knocked out on Power Slap.
They're all like that.
There was one on Power Slap, and I was like, oh, shit. I don't know if this guy's ever going to get up. I forget who it was. In the UFC, there's been a few. I can only imagine how Rebecca felt when I got sparked out for about half an hour against Dan Henderson. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, God, when you see those ones, it's bad.
The worst one I seen sitting cage side was, it would have been, Luke Rockhold versus Jan Blachowicz was a pretty bad one.
I was there for that one.
And then Ben Askren. I've never seen a human body like that before unconscious. I've seen harder shots, like guys take harder, more impactful shots seemingly.
The Masvidal knockout.
But the reaction that his body had, the way he was contorted and his legs were stuck up in the air, and like how tight his toes were curled,
but the way that Masvidal got up and stood up and stood.
And I love Ben Askren. I'm sorry, Ben, if you see this.
Hey, bro, I just spoke about mine.
I've never seen a human body
Yeah. Masvidal did a really good job, A, in knocking him out, and B, in just like mocking him. I mean, the way he stood up and just stiff-boarded down over. Yeah. Oh,
and the two
that
shots
was
he hit him with afterwards were, I mean, he had his hand all the way behind his back when he hit him with the two after that.
Yeah.
Nasty.
I didn't watch, because I know Brian's a big fan of Craig Jones, or as you guys say, Craig. What is it? The Craig Jones Invitational.
It was amazing.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I was too busy with, UFC stuff, guys.
I watched them both.
Well, aren't you? That's what DC does. He's watching UFC and he's watching amateur wrestling at the same time. I'm like, bro. I know Rockhold was on there and he lost, but you must have saw this clip. And Brian, can you pull it up where they square up Craig Jones and Gabi Garcia? Yeah. You saw this. You saw this.
Of course, I'm into this. I'm so into this.
And he kisses Gabi, and Gabi loses her mind. and I know we didn't plan on this one, Brian. If you can bring that up quickly, please, because it's so funny. And the question I've got is: do you think that was staged, or do you think that was actually Gabi Garcia losing her shit?
I think it's actually her losing her shit.
Give us some sound, Brian. Give us some sound, mate.
Like, I think they're trying to be.
A boxing match.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Dear.
I think that they're friends, but I think that they were trying to do something serious, and I think he embarrassed her.
No, they have somebody sent me another video at the end of one of the lead-up videos. They talk about how it was a setup. I'll try to find it right now. Yeah. They're both like cheering and high-fiving, and they're like, "Oh, it worked, haha." Because Brian, see if you can find this. It's Heath Herring in Pride. You ever see that one? I forget the name of it. I think it was a Japanese opponent. They're squaring up. It might have been K1. I'm not sure. They square up.
Pride, and he gets kissed.
The guy kisses him, and Heath Herring just goes, boom!
Yeah.
Knocks him out cold.
I think the best part of that video is where he kisses Heath Herring, and like it takes him a second to realize what just happened. He goes, like, now I have to knock him out. Yeah, like now I have to. He's like annoyed that he has to knock him out now.
そうですね、自分の存在価値を改めてですね、アピールしたいところですよね。
おっと、今の、おっと
Flatlined.
Yeah.
It just goes to show it's the ones you never expect, right? Because that wasn't the biggest punch ever, but he was just like all stiff, hands down, not expecting.
What would you do if someone kissed you in a face-off?
Kiss him back.
That's exactly what you should do.
Let's go. I'll be like, oh yeah, you want to play this game? Rebecca, let's go. Come on, babe. Oh, dear. Harrington, anything else on UFC 305 before we move on to other topics?
Yeah, just wanted to get you guys' take on this because I know a lot of people were buzzing about it on Saturday night. The Junior Tafa Walter Walker fight. Did you guys see that submission sequence? There was no tap, there was no verbal submission, but Tafa did scream out, and the referee at that point stepped in. It led to Tafa being angry after the bell and then slapping Walker. Just wanted to see what you guys thought about that.
Well, let's do it like this. Brian, put a poll up for the chat. Should that fight have been stopped? Yes or no? We're going to start doing live polls and then we can get the reaction from them. So, yeah, look, listen, when I saw that and Walker gets him in the heel hook, it was kind of hard because you couldn't hear it too clearly. I didn't hear the scream too clearly over the commentators talking, but apparently he screamed in pain. That's why the referee stopped it. Now, I feel personally, not talking about the rules, I feel that if somebody screams in pain, that shouldn't necessarily cause a fight to stop. I did see that Big John McCarthy came out and said, according to the unified rules, if you scream in pain, they stop the fight. But I don't think they should, right? I mean, like if you get punched in the stomach and you go, oh, you go, whoa, stop the fight. You hurt, or you get cracked in the face and you go, oh, they don't stop. When someone's got you in a heel hook and they're applying pressure and pain, and you go, the thing is designed to be painful. But if you're choosing to endure the pain, surely that's your choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I agree. I think that
good
in certain
at me, bro.
In certain submissions, especially heel hooks, sometimes the scream is the first thing that like that's the first thing that tells that you need to stop, because if you're trying to separate the knees, you're trying to fight the feet, you're trying to do all that stuff, a twisting knee submission like that, by the time you have to let go of the leg that you have a hold of and to tap, like you might not ever walk the same again.
Of course.
Like I think the scream should be the tap.
Mohammed Makaev, when I think it was Jared Filio. I forget the opponent's name. He was in a bad knee bar. Could have snapped his knee off. What did he do? He didn't tap. He got out of it and he won the fight. Right. Fights, mixed martial arts, there's serious consequences with everything, and I know that all too well. I'm scheduled for neck surgery next week, getting a disc replacement. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be great. But that's just the game that we play. These are professionals. Amateur, no, of course. Amateur jiu-jitsu tournaments, you can't even go for heel hooks. Amateur mixed martial arts in the UK, you can't go for heel hooks. And in certain submissions, if it's, certain organizations, yeah, sure, you're not even allowed to do that. But in the UFC, I feel that if someone just makes a noise in pain, but they choose not to tap, I say let that bad boy
then you go down
on.
a slippery slope. You end up in a situation where someone mounts someone. They get both arms tied up, mouth's a little bit covered and muffled by that thigh that comes across the mouth, right? But you have both arms. How many times have you armbarred someone and had a hold of both their arms where they can't tap? Well, then they can't really talk because you got a leg in front of their mouth. Then you got to start making noise and screaming. But if the referee's like, well, no, he's not tapping and he didn't say tap.
I mean,
like,
but you've just outlined this perfect scenario that we're never going to see. Where someone's in a double arm bar, they're also in a triangle.
I double arm bar everybody.
Yeah, well, you fucking double arm bar me, son.
Anyways, regardless of what we actually think, the rules say that if you make an audible noise out of pain, you lose.
Correct.
And Junior Tafa knows that. Yeah. Everybody knows
Brian,
that.
give me the results of the poll. End that poll. And then I want you to put another poll up. Who's right here? Me or Anthony? Or head-to-head battles? Okay. Forget that poll. Never mind. But what did they say, Harrington?
62% to 38% in favor of the fight being stopped.
Oh, okay. Okay. So who wins this argument? Me or Anthony? Ask the live chat, please. And thank you all for being here, every single one of you. All right. So thank you, Harrington, for that one. We're going to move on from UFC 305, another tremendous night of fights. Harrington, jump back on the screen, please. What is the biggest story in the notes, according to you, right now, that we definitely need to give our attention to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, there was an exciting fight at PFL. So I think that needs to be covered by the BYM guys. No offense to Brendan, but it is kind of few and far between when he's not fighting. This one was against two UFC fighters, Brendan Allen and Marvin Vettori, on the floor of the Seminole Hard Rock Casino where the PFL was taking place.
Yeah.
Who won that fight?
I mean, well, Brendan Allen went at him hard. 3 right hands. Listen, Marvin Vettori is a hot-headed guy, right? I've been in hotels where he's been kicking off, right? Mm-hmm. And I've told this before, but because we were talking shit a while ago. Me and Marvin have a really good relationship now. We've got a mutual friend who's an Italian that owns this restaurant. We had dinner together Christmas Eve and stuff. He's been on the podcast a bunch of times. Great guy, but he's a hot-headed guy. I think Marvin probably thought that, we're talking shit, but you're not going to throw down in the middle of a casino floor when we're both famous UFC fighters. Brendan Allen just said, screw that, buddy. I'm coming for your head.
He's country as shit. Brendan Allen, I would have pegged him to be one of those guys that fights in the middle of a casino any day. He's from the country. He's going to fight anywhere.
At this level of the game,
100%.
You know what I mean?
You can't take that out of someone. You can't. Where's he from? He's from Louisiana?
I have no idea. He sounds
Louisiana,
like it.
Somewhere in the South.
He's from North Carolina.
Are you sure?
North Carolina? That's going to be my hometown.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong, Harrington. You better double check that.
By the way, who won the argument, me or Anthony, according to the poll? I need to know that real quick.
Sorry, he was born in Beaufort, South Carolina. But yeah, I think he might have spent some time in Missouri. And the poll, 64% in favor of Lionheart Smith.
Well, guess what? The show's finished. It's cancelled. We're never going live ever again.
Shut it off.
I said, screw it. We'll do it live.
Hey, was that Dana? Was that Dana tweet to the fight real?
Yeah. Well,
was
yeah,
it a real tweet?
Yeah. What was his response?
I thought it was a fake one.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Hold on. Has to be fight of the night. It was at PFL. Hey, listen, people talk shit. That was funny, though. I just hope. I mean, the problem is when you get to that kind of level and you're professional fighters, and granted, they're both pros. So it's not like he's throwing down with a civilian. But yeah, I've got to be careful. You got to try and control yourself because, you know, you can get arrested there and fined and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not the most serious crime ever. Marvin Vettori certainly isn't the type to press charges.
No.
I wouldn't have thought so.
No. Vettori landed a pretty nasty counter, though.
Oh, did he? I never saw that.
Yeah, Brendan was throwing the punches, and it ended with Vettori cracking a pretty nasty right-hand counter.
Okay.
We're like analyzing a fight in the middle of a casino floor. We're like, well, Allen was really pushing forward, and he was bringing the pressure.
What was the last fight you were around? Last fight, like live brawl fight that you ever saw?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Last one for me was UFC 304 when Belal was getting the belt wrapped around him. All shit hit the fan in the VIP section. I saw chairs flying through the air and all sorts. Yeah. So I it's very unprofessional. I stood on my commentary chair to get a better angle. I didn't have my headphones on. I was like, what's going on over there? I wanted to see. Yeah. A bit of tension. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. Well-oiled wheels, shall we say.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember the last brawl.
Oh, good. Shall we do, because we've got about 15 minutes before Tom Aspinall jumps on. Should we do a non-MMA story so we should see what Harrington has?
Yeah, probably.
Come on, then.
You're going to be disappointed, though.
Well, we've got 3 choices. I'm looking at them here. They're all depressing, and they're not good. Give us A, Harrington, because listen, he's put in here 5 people connected to Matthew Perry's death have been arrested, including his former living assistant, 2 doctors and a woman called the Ketamine Queen. I don't really want to talk about Matthew Perry dying of a ketamine overdose. I guarantee most of the believers aren't big fans of Friends. What, Harrington?
I think you're pretty off base about that. I think Friends has lasted the test of time, and it's like a pretty consistent girlfriend in the background show. So most people care about Friends.
I don't think so. I don't know anybody that watches Friends.
So,
Michaela, you watch Friends?
Rebecca!
Have you watched it recently?
That's my move.
When's the last time you watched Friends? I stole your move. He just happened to be standing right here on the other side of the door.
No, I know.
10 years. It's been 10 years since she's watched Friends.
We have Friends on every now and again, just when we're flicking through the TV and it's on. Ellie kind of likes it, you know. And if there's nothing on, it's one of those you leave it on. Rebecca, Friends. How do you feel about Friends? Do you want to come and say hi to the live believers? Oh, she was working out this morning. She went for a run. She hasn't showered. She looks like shit, to be honest.
Poor Michaela's limping around in a boot.
No.
She breaks her feet and toes more than any person I've ever met in my whole life. It's embarrassing a little bit.
I took Callum for a run this morning. Me, Rebecca, and Callum all went for a run. And all of a sudden, because Callum's put a fair bit of weight on. My God, he's 285 pounds.
Is he really?
He's 285 pounds. He's big with it as well. And, you know, there's definitely some flab there as well. But he's working hard on it, bless him. Working really hard, dieting like mad, training, working out every day, doing 2-a-days. But when we went for a run, all of a sudden, a bad ankle flared up.
My ankle hurts a little bit.
I can't really run. I've got a bad ankle.
Can't run, Dad.
So, Harrington, go on then. Give us the non-MMA story, please.
Okay, so a new budget airline in Europe, Wizz Airlines, is offering a pretty cool deal. $500. You pay it once. You get to fly unlimited for the year. They go all around European countries, someplace in the Middle East. The catch, you can't book your flight until 72 hours before you're taking off. And you can only book one-way tickets. So there's a chance you get there, and they've got nothing coming back for a week or so.
Well, you definitely aren't leaving for 3 days because you can't book it until 72 hours before. So you can get a one-way ticket. This is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard of in my life. Although I've always wanted to do this. Rebecca's not really feeling it. I've always wanted to, I said, let's just go to the airport. Let's pack a bag, go to the airport and just see what flights are going soon and just see what's available and jump on them. Just go to a random destination, figure it out as we go along and go on an adventure.
I would love to do that. We went on a surprise vacation one time that we had booked for us, and we didn't know where we were going until we got to the airport.
I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring a cameraman, and we'll do it.
I'm in.
BYM travel somewhere random.
And maybe we'll end up in the same spot.
Hold on.
Leaving from the same spot.
What airline is this, Harrington?
This is.
Oh, I'm not flying that shit. Anything that says budget air, I'm not getting on.
Oh, bro, it's going to be the worst airline ever.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. I'm not flying Frontier. I'm not flying none of that.
This is the Wiz. You don't trust the Wiz?
Stay on, Harrington.
Okay.
I flew Frontier after the fights last week because I was going to stay to the next morning. But I was like, screw this. The fights finished at 7 p.m. There was a Frontier flight that left at like 8:40. I'm like, oh, I'm getting on that. So I get on it. I sat in the seat. Oh, my God. Rock hard. The most uncomfortable seat I've ever sat in my life.
I hear it's cheaper sometimes they'll let you bring your own lawn chair. And you can just sit in your own chair.
If you
Frontier flights, they're $8, but to check a bag, it's $450.
Yeah, it's not the best airline, but whatever. It gets you from A to B. Harrington, give us an MMA story though. That was a waste. In fact, before we do that, we better run to commercial break. So, Brian, guys, stay with us. 60 seconds. We're going to try and tell you something. We'll be right back. All right, this episode is sponsored by Mando Deodorant from the makers of Lumi Deodorant. Mando is a deodorant clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours wherever you stink, pits, package, feet, and beyond. Sometimes you just wash yourself with water and soap, and after a while, if you're one of those guys or girls that sweats a lot, you can't help it, but you start to stink. That is why you should make the switch to Mando whole body deodorant and smell like a dream every single day. Mando deodorant is safe to use everywhere on your body. Pits, packages, grundles, and balls. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It is clinically proven to control odor all day and then control odor for 72 hours. So if you're a bit of a smelly bugger, no problem. Mando have got you covered. If you sweat a lot, Mando have got you covered, and you can be covered head to toe in Mando because, as I said, it is baking soda free. It is paraben free. It is pH balanced. So it's safe to use below the belt if you want to deodorize your downstairs parts. As I said, clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. All you got to do is go to shopmando.com, use the code Bisping to get $5 off the starter pack. All you got to do is go to shopmando.com, use the code Bisping to get $5 off the Mando starter pack. That includes a solid stick deodorant, cream deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Shopmando.com. The code is Bisping to get $5 off. That equates to over 40% off the starter pack. Shopmando.com. The code is Bisping. All right, and we're back. This is going well, Anthony.
I love this. I even had a chance to check my phone. I got a couple text messages from some friends saying, "Hey, we really like this live format." That's cool.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you all for being here as well. Almost 3,000 people live watching, which is pretty good. I'm just looking at the chat here.
Is it fun?
I don't know. What we'll do is, if you've got any super chats, we will read out the super chats at the end of the show. We'll go through them all. Live is way better. That's from Cam. Yeah, no crap. Bisping, you are leaving out the part where Dricus has said he has to work. He has work to do in his own division. Okay. He told Alex not to come down. He'll go up. All right. He put me in my place there. We got shout outs for Love the Live format, Rebecca. Why I didn't even know it was going to be live. Rebecca! Anyway, so we got Tom joining us, 10 minutes. Let's have a look. Harrington, jump on. Do we have any news stories in mixed martial arts that we need to get to? What's the big stuff going on?
Well, I mean, there's, I think that what makes the most sense, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but you guys didn't really get into it. The new championship fight in your division, Anthony, Khalil Rountree versus Alex Pereira.
Khalil Rountree, Alex Pereira. Yeah. Anthony, your division, your talk, on paper. Let's go.
On paper, one would favor Alex Pereira, probably. It's an exciting fight, though. It's an exciting fight. I'm not talking trash. I am surprised that they didn't rebook the Jamal Hill fight because they were supposed to fight Jamal Hill. Khalil accidentally ingested a banned substance. I believe he was given a short suspension or whatever. He had to be pulled from the Jamal Hill fight. I know that Jamal's very, very upset. I think he wanted that fight. He wanted to have that rebooked. I think maybe he waited a little bit thinking it was going to get rebooked and didn't take other opportunities. But Alex Pereira wants to fight. Khalil would, he was the guy that they went to. I did think it was weird that they booked Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. I thought that was an odd booking, especially with Rakic coming off a loss. Typically, they don't do that, especially with a guy we thought was next in line for the title. Again, I think that there's some other things in play there in terms of getting Magomed Ankalaev stateside and booked. So that's. Yeah, it's a good fight, though. It's a good fight. I love the style. I love the style matchup.
I had my conspiracy hat on, and I was like, "Oh,
what is it?"
The fact that no, it's completely wrong. But I just thought because they booked Magomed against somebody else.
Sneeze. Sorry.
Bless you, sir. It's quite all right. Jeez, we're live, Anthony.
I can't hide it.
What are you doing?
If I shut my camera off and then sneeze, it'll look weird.
I'm joking. Do whatever you want. No, I thought because they booked Magomed versus Rakic, I thought, well, they must have something big and special planned for Pereira. And I thought, are they waiting to see if Izzy beats Dricus and they pull that one back? But obviously, that didn't happen anyway. You mentioned Jamal Hill there and Magomed Ankalaev, and they've both had something to say on this situation. First of all, let's have a look at Jamal Hill's tweet, because he wasn't impressed with this at all. He said, I can't believe what I just saw announced. So a guy pulls out of a contender fight because of a failed drug test for banned substances and gets rewarded with a title shot. This is terrible for the sport and makes the rankings completely pointless. That was Jamal's take. And then Magomed Ankalaev, he went scorched earth on Alex Pereira. Did you not see this? Pull this one up, Brian. Yeah. He was like, oh yeah, he ain't mentioning my name. Do we have that footage? Do we have the tweet? I'll just fill a few seconds. Was it in the notes, Harrington? Brian's having a heart attack right now. He's like,
Brian, his hair's on fire. His hair's on fire right now. If it said anything like he's not mentioning my name, Magomed Ankalaev should not be surprised by that at this point.
I'm just going to Google it. We've got two producers in the background. There we go. We got the transition. He said Magomed Ankalaev reacts to Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is the biggest chicken in the UFC. He calls out guys, middleweights, that's 40 pounds more than them. And he goes on, and there's some other there. He said, but he never mentions my name.
Well, he used to be a middleweight not that long ago.
Ankalaev also said, I'm going to knock him out in the second round.
Yeah. What's your prediction early? Pereira versus Khalil. I mean, you've got to favor Alex Pereira in this matchup.
Favor Alex Pereira. I think, if you really want me to get deep into the X's and O's, I think that recently Khalil has been giving up some distance and space when he's in there. He wants to counter and he's really fast, but I had a hard time kind of tracking him down and getting a beat on him, but Alex is way better than I am in terms of striking. So I think that if Khalil sits back and lets Pereira walk him down like he let me do, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
But what about on paper?
Well, on paper, Alex Pereira is a better striker. And neither one of them are going to offensively wrestle. So
hey, listen, I'll tell you this, right? Yeah, sure. I kind of thought it would be Magomed Ankalaev, right? And he's going to fight Rakic. That's a great fight. I'm looking forward to that one. Fight. When he gets through Rakic, if Pereira's still the champ, if Khalil's still the champ, it's got to be Magomed Ankalaev next. Now, I'm sure that had something to do with the fact that Magomed did get a title fight against Jan Blachowicz. And it was, number one, it was a draw. Yeah. And it wasn't a good, entertaining fight. The crowd was booing like crazy. I was there live.
I don't think that the brass was super happy about some of the things he said afterwards either. He seemed
what did he say? I don't remember.
He was like, thought it was a bunch of conspiracies and he was getting robbed and it just, nobody likes that. Nobody likes that.
Well, if it doesn't go your way, you can't start pointing fingers at the organization. I mean, It's crazy that people still talk about fixed fights and this was, you know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't happen. Do you think they would, and this sounds like you're all going to call me bootlickers here, but do you think they're going to jeopardize the integrity of the entire organization just to get one guy a fight when there's cornermen, there's training partners, there's all the people in the gym, there's the managers. Someone's going to say something to somebody, and that's going to get out there. So the fixes and all the
fighters can't even keep fight bookings quiet.
No, they can't. They can't. Nothing. Everything gets. I mean, there's journalists with big noses out there that find this stuff out. You know what I mean? They are.
You can't hide anything around here.
You can't keep anything. Nothing.
Nothing is a secret around here.
Brian, were we trying to do a little insert there? Were we trying to do a Michael Bisping said it best? Give us one, and give us a bam, 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 bam. If you're an old school believer, you'll remember.
Michael Bisping said it best. Michael Bisping said it best.
Just once would have sufficed. Do we have a bam, 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 bam?
I don't have that loaded up yet.
Oh, God damn.
God damn it.
Back in the
It's the first one, folks. We're trying.
We're going to have more. Let us know in the chat what are the sound bites we need there for a little bit of interactions, a little bit of interludes. Talking of interactions, I had a little distraction yesterday. I watched an absolute shit show, a farce.
What was it?
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. And I'm sorry, chat. I know you don't want to talk about this, and I'm not obsessed with Jake Paul, but they had a press conference yesterday. Did you see any of it?
No.
Oh,
no.
Dude.
I heard there was one.
It was the cringiest thing ever.
And I seen some pushing, but that was it.
Look at this.
Hey, New York, shut the fuck up, New York. Hey, boo yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York. Hey, New York, New York. New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. Fuck you, New York. Fuck you. Dumbass Democratic City.
Dumbass Democratic City. He just can't take it because normally he's got the YouTubers and the kids and all those little influencers and stuff and that crowd kissing his ass.
What'd you think of his shirt? Would you wear that shirt?
No, never in a million years. And I wouldn't wear that beard. Can we get a still of Jake Paul on yesterday, Brian? He looked like, what is it? What are those people called? The Amish?
Yeah.
You know, the big beards?
Yeah. The shirt.
What are you? It's Prada, bro. What are you talking about? It's Prada.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it looks good, though.
I know. That's my point. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, he thinks, it's Prada. It doesn't matter what it looks like. No, it looks goddamn stupid. That's what it looks.
It looks stupid. The earring looks stupid. The shades look stupid. I mean, I know the chains are in fashion. Have you ever been a gold chain type of guy?
I'm a little bit of a necklace guy, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not a Bobby Green type.
No, never like that. I think Bobby Green, but if Bobby Green showed up, King, sorry. If King Green showed up somewhere I was and he didn't have a chain, I'd ask him if he was okay.
Yeah.
Because it's just who he is.
What's your problem?
Yeah, what's going on? Are you okay?
Yeah. So anyway, so Jake Paul yesterday, the Mike Tyson thing, it's hilarious because he's putting down Mike Tyson. Oh, New York, you're like what Mike Tyson was 20 years ago. Good. No, Mike Tyson wasn't good 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Mike Tyson had his last fight against Kevin McBride. Mm-hmm. And the footage in that fight is terrible. In the 6th round, he kind of gets pushed over and he's so exhausted. They stopped the fight because he can't get back to his feet. That was Mike Tyson 20 years ago. Mike Tyson was good 40 years ago, right? And Jake Paul,
crazy.
doesn't understand that you don't bring that up. Do you know what I mean? Keep that one to yourself. So Jake Paul was trying to mean mug the whole time. He was throwing it to Mike Tyson, and Ryan Clark. He was like the host.
Yeah.
He would ask Mike Tyson a question, and I don't like saying this, but Mike Tyson couldn't think of anything to say, and there was like 30 seconds of dead air where Mike Tyson was like.
He's not always been a good talker.
Bro, are you serious? He went full Joe Biden, right? I'm telling you.
Yeah, but he's never been super like real quick-witted with a lot of like he's not charismatic. He was only good because he said crazy shit because he was high on cocaine and talking about killing people.
When he had a press conference for Lennox Lewis, he threatened to eat people's babies. And he also said some other stuff that will definitely get us thrown off YouTube that I'm not going to say.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it.
We can't get kicked off right when we start live again.
First show, it so was. But what I'm saying is that it was definitely, for Mike Tyson, as you get older, you calm down. Right. Mm-hmm. And there's maybe, and I'll choose my words very respectfully, maybe a little bit of a cognitive decline getting older. You're not as sharp, you're not as quick-witted, you're not as invested, whatever the case may be. But also, people like to joke around about the term CTE and stuff like that. But he's been in combat sports since he was about 15 years old. Mm-hmm. That was a kind of fruity look there, just the little, what is that, Starbucks?
No, my wife brought me a Scooter's coffee. Dude, you got to get one of these. Scooter's coffee.
Let's do it. Just nibble on that straw again.
You hate the straw thing, but how do you drink an iced coffee without a straw?
Just do this with it as well. Like play with what's in there. Oh God, yeah, it's so good. No. Yeah. What does the chat think of that one? Oh. Look at this guy. Oh. Thank God, Tom, because we were going down a rabbit hole there.
Shit was getting weird around here, Tom. You saved us. It was getting weird over here.
Okay.
Well, Tom, how do you feel about just showing what you were doing?
Tom, how do you drink an iced coffee without a straw? Like when you go buy an iced coffee, how do you drink it without a straw?
What do you mean without a straw?
Would you just use a straw?
Just like that?
Like a man. And Tom, I know you're the champ, but you like a little drink here and there. If you were, for example, to get a Moscow Mule, to get a vodka tonic, whatever the case may be, would you hold the glass with a little tiny straw?
No, mate. That's fruity. You can't be doing that. That's a bit.
It
too
makes
fruity.
my teeth cold, so I use a straw.
No, you can't do it.
He said no.
Exactly. I rest my case. Tom, thank you very much for your time, mate. Always a pleasure to have you on here. Of course, we haven't spoke since your triumphant return to Manchester, UFC 304, Curtis Blades. I mean, could that have gone any better?
Not really. No, I mean, I'm always, first and foremost for me, like the performance is very important. Like ultimately, I'm a mixed martial artist and I want to do my best at that. I mean, it was a bit messy, but it was very early in the fight, weren't it? We were still both finding our range by the time I caught him with the whatever I caught him with. But I mean, I would have liked it to be a little bit cleaner, but mate, I ain't complaining too much. You know what I mean? It wasn't perfect, but it was close.
Yeah. So what have you been doing since? Have you been celebrating, or are you taking a little bit of time off, spending it with your family, or did you get right back at it?
Nah, mate. But look, I've even got the headphones on now. I've just been for a run.
Oh.
I'm hungry, man. Like I had a little bit of time off. Went to Spain for a week. I've been chilling out a little bit, but mate, I'm trying to be the best heavyweight of all time, mate. And like when you're at the top, when you're like number one. It's the hardest to keep that position, in my opinion. So I'm like more hungry than ever.
Yeah, no, of course you can't take it for granted, and we'll get to all the Jon Jones stuff in just a minute. But let's not shimmy past what you did in Manchester, mate, because that was phenomenal. There was a lot of pressure on you there. Curtis, rightly or wrongly, had a win over you. He was stylistically on paper supposed to be a dangerous matchup, and yeah, okay, you got clipped once or twice. But as my old boxing coach, Mark Kinney, used to always say, you don't go in the rain without getting wet. You don't go up against world-class opponents without getting clipped, you know. But you took it like a man. You dropped him with the jab and you got the finish. And I spoke to you at the weigh-ins the day before, and we were talking about, you know, your sleeping schedule and stuff like that. How was the sleep schedule? Because I saw what you said. You hardly slept, right?
Oh, mate, I royally fucked it up, you know. Really bad. Really bad. No, you know, I thought, honestly, by the time that the fight came around, I thought I had it, like, nailed on. Perfect. I was on US time successfully for over a week. And I've obviously fought in the US. I fought in a lot of different places in the world or different time zones. And usually for me, it takes a week, do you know, at least a week before I start feeling normal. So I gave myself like about 10 days where I was staying up till like 4 or 5 a.m. UK time, which was around the time I was going to be fighting. And honestly, I had it perfect. I started getting to the point where it was like 12, 1, 2 a.m. and I weren't even getting tired. Do you know what I mean? I was absolutely fine. And the night before, so the night of the weigh-ins, the night before the fight, I was like, right, this is great. It's almost like I'm fighting on Sunday. It's almost like usually I'll obviously fight around midnight Saturday night, but I was fighting around 5, 6 a.m. Sunday morning. So I was like, right, I'm going to go to bed regular time the night of the weigh-ins. Like the night before my fight, I'm going to go to bed regular time, like 12 o'clock. I'm going to wake up around 7, 8, breakfast, little workout maybe. And I was staying like in a different hotel that had like a sweet pool, sauna, jacuzzi, all that good stuff. So I was like, right, little workout, breakfast, and I'm going to just spend the day in bed sleeping. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel amazing. So anyway, I did it. I did exactly what I planned. Woke up around 7, 8 o'clock, breakfast, did a little workout. I was feeling amazing actually. Did a little swim, jacuzzi, little bit of a sauna. I didn't want to do too much, obviously, because I didn't want to be too tired. And then went back to the
Listen to this guy.
Oh God, mate! I was feeling fantastic. Got back to the hotel, put my head on the pillow, and all of the negative thoughts just started running through my mind, as they do on fight day. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, I fought this guy before. Last time I fought him, I got injured. You know, he's got a win over me. I've got to get it back. Oh, he's the best wrestler in the division. He's knocked this guy out. He's knocked that guy out. I don't want to get knocked out in front of 25,000 of my home fans. And this just, I mean, you guys know what it's like. I'm preaching to the point. Like the thoughts just build and build and build and build. Like on a regular day, like now, I can cancel it out, no problem. But when you've got that pressure on you and you're feeling like that, it's just like the slightest little thought can just set you off, and it just snowballs and snowballs. And I just ended up lying there for like 4 or 5 hours, not being able to sleep. And then, honestly, by the time I fought, so I fought around 6 a.m., 5:30, 6 a.m., I was awake for nearly 24 hours.
That's crazy. Well, I'm really curious about this. I asked you this, I think, the week, like during that fight week, but it's a hard question to answer when you're about to do it. But now that you've already been through it, what were you most worried about with Curtis Blaydes? Like, what was that one thing that would keep you up?
In all honesty, every fight, I really don't want to get beat up in front of millions of people. I really don't want to. But in this particular circumstance, Curtis is just so experienced and mixes up his grappling and his stand-up so well that is what kept me up. In the heavyweight division, we're not as well-rounded as the guys in the other divisions, being honest. Like a flyweight, a bantamweight, whatever, like them guys are elite everywhere. In the heavyweight division, a lot of even the top guys are still a lot better at one thing than they are at another thing. On the contrary to that, Curtis Blaydes is fucking fantastic everywhere. So just me having to worry about a lot of different things, as opposed to usually I'm fighting one guy and I go, right, this is where he's good. This is where he, like, for example, Pavlovich, very, 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 very heavy hands. There's not a lot much that we've seen, at least, that he's really good at. So I had to worry about him steaming across the octagon at me, throwing absolute haymakers and knocking me unconscious. That's predominantly what I had to worry about with Pavlovich. Whereas with Curtis Blaydes, it was a whole you know, he's had so many fights and done so many good things in his different fights that the guy's really good everywhere. So I was worried about all that.
I mean, that's really honest of you, Tom, because, and without disrespecting the entire heavyweight division, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? That's what makes you so different. That's what makes you so successful. And everyone said beforehand, don't just sit here and kiss Tom's ass. But this is why I've always thought you're going to do so well, because you are super athletic and well-rounded. And as you said, the majority of the heavyweight division isn't, like we saw Jairzinho and Tai Tuivasa at the weekend. You know what I mean? They haven't got many other paths to victory other than that one that we saw, you know? So anyway, so congratulations on that. Well done. Beast Farm. You said you've been training. You were just on holiday, you little liar, in Spain. Right, so don't give me this 24/7, 365 bullshit. You were just living it up in Spain. You know you were. But I want to ask you about this.
I was living it up.
Yeah, you weren't running every day in Spain.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, good. Thank God. You're going to enjoy yourself, Tom. Get Joe Biden out of there. Stipe Miocic, get him out of there. It needs to be Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Anthony. I know he's your friend. I'm just trying to get a fight. Yeah,
it's fine. I didn't even when we talked about it on here like last week, I was like, okay, that was a pretty good line.
I mean, I never have anything against anyone personally. It's just a sport for me. I'm just having a laugh. Do you know what I mean? But
it was good.
Am I right though? Am I right or not? Because what the fuck's going on? What is going on? Like,
you haven't heard anything about that fight happening or anything.
I've heard nothing. So, like, they want me to be a backup fighter for it, but why are you giving a guy who's 42, however old he is? I mean, I completely understand, mate. I have the utmost respect for Stipe and what he's done in his career, and Jon Jones, on the contrary to what people might think. Respect them guys more than I can even put into words. But they don't fucking deserve to be fighting for the heavyweight title. Them guys are not the top of the heavyweight division right now. Let's not, you know, Dana White and everybody else can say whatever they want. Them guys aren't the best heavyweights in the world right now. And I'm not saying that they've not had amazing careers, because I idolize them guys. I want to have a career like that. That's what I'm aiming to do with my life, is what they've done. But they're not the best right now. Right now, they're definitely not the best. So let's stop talking all this bullshit like they are.
So recently, Jon Jones came out, and you saw it because I sent it to you, and it did the rounds online, and I wanted to get your response. Jones on an Instagram comment said he's going to retire at the end of the year, right? And I was very curious. And you text me back, and I said, can I say this publicly? And you said, yeah, go ahead. And I didn't, because by the time you'd responded, I didn't want to give our personal dialogue on a YouTube video. But I said, oh, Tom, look at this. John says he's retiring. Do you know what his response was, Anthony?
What was it?
He's a bit of a fanny, isn't he? Which I thought was nice. You didn't go scorched earth. You didn't talk shit. You're just like, oh, he's a bit of a fanny, isn't he?
All right, well, I stand by that. I stand by it. But well, Jon Jones, he was praying that I would lose that fight against Curtis Blades, mate. Praying that I would. Because there is nowhere that you can find publicly, nowhere, him saying that he will fight me. It doesn't exist. I challenge anybody watching this interview to go and find a statement, a quote, a video where Jon Jones is saying that he'll fight me after he's fought Stipe. It doesn't exist. The guy's smart. And, mate, the guy, we know he's a bit overweight these days. The guy was sat there, mate, with the Cheeto fingers or whatever, the Doritos on his fingers, with his iPhone in hand, waiting for me to get knocked out so he can start tweeting about it. Let's be honest. And since I won that fight, he's gone completely quiet. And he'll continue to go completely quiet about me until he retires, because there's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
So, I mean, wow. That's like one of the coldest fucking statements I've ever heard in my whole life. But
that is sick. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. That's the thumbnail. Go on.
How frustrating is that? That's got to be the most goddamn frustrating thing in the world, because if he goes in and wins and then retires, of course, that's great for you, because then you're immediately becoming the undisputed champion. But just like people did to DC, like they've done in the past, that it's always going to be, well, he didn't win it from Jon, which is so unfair to you. And I think we talked about this last week or the week before, Mike, where I think it's super unfair, and that's got to be annoying. But are you? I guess as part of you just like, okay, just hurry up and do it and get out of here so I can move on, or are you still holding on to some sort of chance you can convince him?
You know, the way I look at it, I'm the best heavyweight in the world, and I'm not getting my credit for it. They're holding the belt hostage, mate, and Jon Jones is loving it. He's loving the fact that Dana White is getting on every interview possible. Freaking hell, you talk about something, you're talking about bantamweights, and Dana White flips it back and starts talking about how good Jon Jones is. I'm like, mate, if he's that good, let's fight. Like, I'm the #1 heavyweight in the world right now. Let's put it on the line and let's see who the man is, me or Jon. It's simple as that. It's not. I think a lot of people get it twisted about me disrespecting Jon and all that stuff. Mate, there's plenty of ammo out there for me to get online and disrespect Jon Jones. There's plenty of ammo that people know about Jon Jones in his personal life. And I ain't going there. I'm not about that. I'm the best fighter in the world, best heavyweight in the world right now. And Jon Jones isn't. And I'm willing to prove it. And he's not. That's what I'm about. I'm about being the best heavyweight in the world. As I said, it's well documented that Jon Jones isn't the best person in the world, isn't the best human being in the world. But I ain't going there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to make it personal. I want to be known as the best heavyweight in the world because I believe I am. And if he believes that he is, let's fight about it and settle it. Simple as that.
Well, Tom, I can clearly see that you're fired up about that. And I do like to see it. And I understand why. And I understand exactly what you're saying, because you're right. There is so much history over the years with Jon Jones. You haven't touched any of it with a barge pole. And that would be like the immediate thing that a lot of people would go to. And that's, again, why I respect you as a human being for not doing that. And even at UFC 3 or 4, when you won, you just went, hi, Jon. You didn't give it the big one. You didn't get on the microphone and talk shit, call him a coward or any of that. You still kept it respectful. And I think that's why ultimately people look at you and, you know, you have got a large support on your side. And a lot of people kind of also frustrated with your situation. So we spoke in Manchester briefly, and you mentioned it just there. So you're going to be the backup fighter for the fight between Stipe and Jon. Is that confirmed?
Yes, mate, that's confirmed. And I will jump in on 1 hour's notice if I have to and beat either of them.
So my question for that, though, is, do you, and I don't blame you, mate, and I don't doubt you for a split second. Look at what you did to Sergey on 2 weeks' notice with an injury. But is there a little part, is there a slight risk, and I'm just asking for the sake of conversation, that because you're not the guaranteed fighter, you're only the backup fighter, that you don't train quite as hard, and then maybe you get stepped up last second, last minute, and you've kind of half-arsed it in camp?
Absolutely not. I am not one. Mate, I will be more prepared for that fight if it happens or not than I was for my last fight. Every training camp, mate, I'm getting more and more mature. I'm learning more and more. I'm getting better. I know how to prepare more. I know who to train with and what to train and how my body feels and all that stuff. And mate, I have never, ever, ever been as focused in my life as I am right now. Like, I will, as I said, mate, I will step in, put the gloves on, take my shirt off and fight these guys on an hour's notice if I need to.
Which guy would mean more to you to beat? If you take the belt out of it, take the title belt out of it, which one would mean more?
They're probably pretty equal in that respect. As I said before, them guys are what I'm trying to do with my life. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to be on their level of status. Do you know what I mean? I want to be one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time.
Who do you look up to more?
Well, I look up to Stipe more because don't make me say it, Anthony. Don't make me say it.
Well, no, even
say what? Say what? I want to know.
Well,
I don't mean like personally.
Let the man speak. Okay. I want to hear this.
If there's anything about drug tests going on, then, I didn't even think of that.
I wasn't thinking of that either.
That's a bit of an asterisk next to your name. Do you know what I mean? If there's a drug test going on, same as you know, when people talk about Anderson Silva being the best of all time, he definitely was, but there was definitely some other stuff going on there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some questions.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. I've always said that I thought that your style and your game is the next evolution of what Stipe kind of was. Like, great boxer. He's for his size, he's fast, crazy power in his hands, fairly mobile, can wrestle, like you're the next evolution of that. You're just, I've always said, I thought you're the way better version of Stipe if you add in the jiu-jitsu and the kicking game and stuff like that. So I thought maybe Stipe would be the guy that you probably would align more with in terms of just watching him fight.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I don't know either guy personally, but Stipe seems more my type of human being.
He is.
Jones.
Tom,
Yeah,
Tom,
he is.
One thing that I'm picking up here is because, obviously you're very happy with your success. You're confident in who you are and comfortable with who you are and where you're at. You became the interim champion. You've just defended the interim champ. But now it's really seeming like this is now pissing you off. Whereas before, you were so... Don't take this the wrong way. You see, you were so happy and grateful for the situation that you were in, but now it seems that it's pissing you off that you're not getting a chance to unify the belts and truly say, I am the undisputed. Am I accurate in thinking that?
Yes, you are. It is pissing me off. I don't like to fucking complain because everyone's like, oh, you're crying about this, blah, blah, blah. Mate, there's 6 guys in the top 10 who I finished in the first round. Just let that sink in for a minute.
Oh, geez.
6 guys in the top 10 have finished in the first round. I just beat the number 1 contender, who is Sorogan, and the number 1 contender before him, who was Sergey Pavlovich, in a combined time of 2 minutes and 7 seconds. 2 fights. So it's like, fucking John's not doing that. He beat one guy, Sorogan, who didn't want to be there 2 years ago. Yeah. And he's walking around calling himself the real champion. Granted, he's having an amazing career. He's been a champion most of his career. Not a heavyweight. I'm the guy at heavyweight. Not him. Me. So I want to be recognised as the best. I've got the real belt. I'm the one defending. He's defending against a 42-year-old Stipe Miocic with 1,000,000 miles on the clock. If you want to be the real guy, you have to fight me.
I tell you what, Tom, this is the first time I've seen you like this.
I like it.
I like it. But I tell you, I don't want to be stuck down a dark alley with Tom and he's had 6 Stellas and I've pissed him off because I've said something like a little bit wrong that he doesn't like in an interview. And I get this version of Tom in my face because whenever I'm around Tom, I'm always like, come on, Tom, I'll take you. I'll single leg you. This version of Tom, I'm like, fuck that. I'm out of it.
Security.
How was the holiday, Tom?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was good. It was really, really good. We just got a villa and stuff. And just chilled out, man. We didn't do nothing.
Where'd you go?
Just went to Spain. Yeah,
it's a big country. Where in Spain?
Yeah, it was like near Valencia. It was beautiful, man. Really, really nice area. It was just everything was chilled and nice. It's perfect.
Given that we're all working class people, and fighting gives us so much. And of course, now, Tom, you're at the top of the sport and you've just got that final tiny little bit, that little formality to take care of, whether it's Jones or Stipe, but you're the heavyweight champion of the world. With that comes great reward as well. How does it feel now? And I know you're not a materialistic guy. You're just not. But to now have financial security and to know that the path in the future is nice and rosy and you can give your family the things that they need and take care of them the way that a man always wants to. How rewarding is that for you, Tom?
That for me is probably, it's one of the best bits, if not the best bit. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, I really, unlike a lot of guys at the top, at the real top of the division, like I really actually enjoy fighting. Like I really love the process of training, getting ready for it, the mental side of it. I love it. I love being at an event, waiting to get your hands wrapped and waiting to walk out there and fight and not knowing what's going to, like, I love that. But as you said, the financial security for sort of someone like me, who I never had nothing, like in terms of money and all that stuff. Like you said, I'm from a working class place with a working class family, and There's nothing that, you know, it's never been, it was never what was driving me, but now I've got it. It's amazing. Do you know what I mean? Just to be in a position to, like you say, I don't really have to really worry about money anymore, which is amazing, because for so long, mate, when I was like on the come up to just to get to the gym, like I had to worry about how am I going to like put fuel in my car to drive to the gym for a long time. For a long time, I had to do that. Even like when I was in the UFC, like first couple of fights in the UFC, I was still like worrying about, you know, am I going to pay my rent this month, and am I going to afford to put fuel in the car to go to the gym, and am I going to afford to, you know, eat healthy food? Because healthy food's expensive. Am I going to afford to buy a protein shake and get a massage and do it, like, you know, do all the stuff that comes with being a professional athlete? And also, I had by the time I was 25, I had 3 kids. I didn't have no money. I have fucking no money at all. Zero. Zero.
No, mate, like a lot of us, I mean, for me, it was only about the money, because I was sick of having nothing, sick of having stupid petty arguments with my wife every time she'd go shopping and spend too much and buy like the brand name stuff and all the rest of it. And then the bills come in, and then of course not being able to buy the kids nice clothes and go on holidays and all the rest of it. Has it sunk in though, Tom? Because for me, for a while, I still felt it was a long time before I allowed myself to kind of like, you know what? I've made it. I've done it.
Yeah, I think it's still sinking in for me personally. In all honesty though, I don't really live too different than what I did before. I've got a nicer house and that, and like I'm more, I don't have as many money worries or anything like that, which is a big worry, of course, especially when you've got children. But I just basically live the same, really. I don't do anything like bougie or spectacular. Do you know what I mean? I do the same shit every day as I did before. So, but it's nice when I do get to sit back and think of it, which is not very often. You know, we're busy people, aren't we? Everyone's got shit to do. Everyone's got kids to run around for. We've got to be at this event and that event, and then train twice a day and do all the rest of it. I don't get much chance to sit back and think, but when I do, it's pretty nice. Yeah.
What's the one thing that like maybe you want to splurge on and do some, I don't know, I call it rapper shit. You know, rappers get rich and famous and they buy something ridiculous. What's like that one thing that maybe you want to and you haven't pulled the trigger on?
Do you know what? I've got a nice car. I've got a Range Rover. It's really, really nice. But I was thinking recently, shall I just buy a new G-Wagon?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, wait. In fact, no, do it.
Go buy it. Go buy it.
Because I was going to say, look, listen, right? The amount of money I've wasted on bloody stupid cars over the years, right, that I shouldn't have done. But you're the heavyweight champ. You're probably making millions of dollars per fight. So you know what? Treat yourself.
I don't know. You know what? I've still got that thing. Like, I have the same friends as I had when I was 10 years old.
You should.
If I started cruising about in like a pimped up Jeep, everyone would just be like, "What a dickhead! What is he doing?"
That sounds just like my friend. You piece of shit! Get that stupid car out of here.
No, dude. So I remember I had a training camp. I forget. Rampage Jackson came to Clitheroe with me, and we had to pick up the kids from primary school. So me, Rampage, and Czech Congo went to my local, and there's not a lot of black guys in Clitheroe. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, Rampage has got the chains on. Czech Congo's gigantic. Do you know what I mean? We pulled up at the outside. You should see these schools, Anthony. You can't picture it. Little Victorian, like prim and proper, like little school in a village, you know, in North England. I pulled up in some fancy, I think, was it a G-Wagon, like a Range Rover or something, with Quinton Rampage Jackson and Czech Congo, and people, and we got the hip hop
trying to pick up kids.
We're picking up my kids, and it was like, who's this dickhead these days? Look at him, right? Tom, listen, we've taken up enough of your time, mate. Thank you very much. I'm proud of you, Tom. Congratulations on all the success. Genuinely.
Thank you, gentlemen. Hope all goes well with the new show and stuff. I'll be tuning in as always. I'll be tuning in.
Awesome.
Oh,
Cheers,
the
boys.
YouTube stuff, Tom. You're smashing that out of the park as well.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you tune in this Thursday, Tom Aspinall official. It's going off. It's going off this Thursday.
What are you doing? Are you slapping back? What is it?
Okay.
You just tune in, Mike. This Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time.
Wait.
There we go.
Get out of here.
All
Go
right.
on.
Yeah.
See you,
Thanks,
Tom. What a guy. What a
Fired
guy.
up, Tom. I like it.
Hey, he was fired up big time. All right, we've been going for 2 hours. Can you believe it? Time flies when you're having fun. Do we have any chats in particular that we need to get to? Harrington and Brian, jump on the show. And well done to thank you, Tom and Brendan Loughnane, for joining us. We got any good questions or chats that we need to get to from the live chat?
I got 2 questions from the emails, and we do have a pile of super chats.
All right, run through some super chats, but we'll make the answers kind of brief. Come on, let's go. Rapid fire super chats. Go.
There we go. First one's up. Do a Tales from the Octagon again in Birmingham.
Will do soon. Got to organize it all. It's a big thing. Giovanni Perez. I'll say it. You just bring them up. Me and Anthony.
We're live.
Giovanni Perez. Let's go.
My man.
Jakers.
Hey, that's okay. I got a little bit shorter. My hairline's getting worse.
Billy Barham says the best MMA podcast by far. Well, there's a smart guy.
Thank you.
I'll just read them.
I was reading it. I wasn't looking at you. I can read it.
Nick Giordano gives us a tenner. Congrats on both on your success. You're next up, Anthony. You're next up. You're going to be quick.
All right. Ryan said Yuri was talking about moving to 185. Izzy versus Yuri. That's exactly
what he called it.
Mike. Yeah.
Already called it, Ryan. Axel Clark. Would Izzy have been as humble as Dricus in victory?
Unlikely. Unlikely.
Definitely not.
I don't think so.
Giovanni Perez Herringbone with the shout out. Charles Hooker versus Tony.
Yep. See?
Anthony Smith shout. Hooker versus Max.
Lil Lou. Hooker versus Max for BMF title after Max fights Tapuria. I like that one.
Bowling. I'm just worried about if Jon Jones can come back from ripping his pec, the long recovery time, strength and mobility lost. I'm wondering if he will still be able to be competitive. And that is what we're all wondering, Joseph.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anglo-Saxon. Hey, champ. Hey, Anthony. Having a rough time at the moment. You two and this community. Proper cheered me up. Thank you.
Well, you know what? And that's one of the things that we do like and do some of the comments that we do get, Anthony, because there's always trolls online, but we get some lovely comments and DMs, don't we, Anthony?
Yeah. And it makes me feel better that we can come on here. Sometimes we're just talking about a bunch of bullshit, but if it's uplifting anybody or taking you out of your regular day-to-day life that's bugging you, that makes me very happy. Happy. So we appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Alex DDP, meet in the middle, 192.5 pounds. Not going to happen because it's pointless and the UFC don't do catch weights.
Fallout says, what's the point of the interim belt if you don't get the next title shot? And Dana said nothing is deserved when he's an interim champion. Well, I think that's exactly what Tom is all fired up about. And my point where I said Tom kind of knew the deal and he's got to wait. I feel like I'm backing off of that a little bit. Once he's defended it one time, we're kind of running up to that point now.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Everyone knows Tom is the real champ, but I'll do the rest of these on a little bonus video for the channel because we could be here.
There's just 2 more.
There's 2 more. Let's go. Come on, then. I thought they're not stopping. I'm like, Anthony's like, we're getting out of here. What
no, I'm good.
He's so special. Commitment, heart, will, determination. Having his nose fixed, being from South Africa, mate. The fact that he's the only guy to can you do a South African? I can't do a South African. No, can you do one?
I can't do any accents.
Mate.
That's a hard one.
I can't
it's
do
like
South African.
It's like slow Australian.
I can't do a South African, mate. It's a little bit like this. Yes. A little bit like this. Can you just give Noah Brandt a shout out?
He sent two of these $2 donations so he can get a shout out.
Brandt, you got your shout out. I can't do it. I can do it right about no. This is #1 bullshit. Anthony, do an accent. I want to hear you do it.
I can't do any accents. I've tried.
Do in English.
I can't. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, man. I'm doing an Anthony Smith right now. I can't do that, bro.
I worked hard enough to get my country bumpkin accent to go away. that I'm just stuck with where I'm at.
I've been working with a voice coach.
Why?
45 years old. And I still don't talk properly.
Are you serious?
It's crazy.
I think you sound fine.
Well, yes, because everybody can understand me, of course. But so for like, you know, the acting side of things, they wanted me to work on an American accent. And the person that they got, she's fantastic. We're not even talking American accents. She's like, as soon as I started talking, she was like, whoa, stop. What are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you don't breathe. I don't breathe when I talk. You're supposed to breathe. And I'm like, really? I said, you know why? Because I talk so fast and I'm trying to butt in.
You're like, I got so much to say.
Yeah.
And you all need to hear it.
I got to say it right now, this second. So I'm learning how to talk, Anthony. It's wild.
I can't believe you haven't even made it to the American accent yet. She's just teaching you how to speak in your own fucking accent.
She said it's like nails going down a chalkboard, listening to you talk. No, because I do lose. Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's
you
not
cheeky
nice.
cow. No, because my commentary, podcast, YouTube stuff, acting,
all you do is talk.
It's all I do is talk.
Yeah.
So I got a voice coach. I'm getting bougie. Anyway, thank you all for being here for the first ever Believe You Me Live. Well done to Harrington and Brian. We will be back on Thursday. We have Sugar Sean O'Malley joining on Thursday's episode, as well as a bunch of other guests that are yet to be organized. But we appreciate you all for being here. Thank you very much. See you soon.